Hello Simmers, welcome to my channel. This is a quick, simple beginner tutorial on how to make a palazzo trouser. Stay tuned. So I'll be using 2 yards of junkoso, bale junkoso for this trouser. So to get my material on fold, what I'll be using is my lap measurement divided by 2 plus extra 3 inches. Mind you, I didn't use my exact lap measurement. If your lap measurement is 20, for example, you can use 22. And the way I take my own is when I'm putting my tape around my tie on my lap, I don't make it snug. I make it as free as I want it to be. So I adjusted the folded fabric to be exactly what I wanted it to be. And because this material is slippery, I had to measure my length, full length of my trouser, same way after measuring the width, and I cut it out. So for my full length of my trouser is 46 inches. I did not minus my band from this. I marked the complete 46 inches. So I'll be using that extra allowance for my joining and the folding of my hem. That is, if your full length is 46 inches, minus band should be 44 inches, right? But I used exact 46 inches for the length. So to start taking my measurements, I would minus 2 inches for my band. As you can see, I did not start the tape from the very beginning. I minused 2 inches. I marked my hip line, which is 9, and to get my crotch measurement, I divided my hip by 4 and added 3 inches to it. This is going to be my crotch length because this is a high waist. Then the next thing I marked on those lines was my hip measurement divided by 4. My hip measurement divided by 4. Now, I did not use my exact hip measurement because this is a palazzo and I wanted it to be free on the hip. So you know how you want yours to be. So the next thing I did on the waist point at the folded edge was to minus 1.5 inch and connected it to the hip. Then from that point I took my waist measurement and added that 1.5 inches back again. So I connected all these lines to the straight lines to the hip measurement. So on the crotch line, I came out by 2.5 inches for my crotch extension. This is not hard at all. So from the hemline, I just measured exactly what I had there. So in this case, since I already have a block material, like a square material, I just measured the excess on the crotch side, which is 2 inches, and I just marked it down and connected it. Sorry, it's not showing. But it's just like basically marking the same thing you have on your crotch on the hemline and connecting a straight line. So I'll cut this out. I'm sorry I'm pinning this because the material is so light and it kept on moving and shifting. So I cut this out. If you can see closely, you see that the side of this trouser has a curved. This is to give it more shape. So that mark I did there was to come down by 1 inch for that, so that the front won't be creasing. That's why I came down by 1 inch there. If you're going to add that, I don't think there's any need for you to be doing that. So for the back measurements, it's basically simple. You just fold your material 3 inches bigger than the front. On the crotch line, you mark 3 inches out. On the hip and on the waist, you mark 2 inches and you connect all the lines. From the crotch down to the side of the middle of the trouser, you can just mark 2 inches, or you can mark the same 3 inches, but I used 2 inches for mine because I didn't want it to be too big. So I would cut all this out. After cutting, I'll cut the side and I'll cut out that 1 inch I came down for the front. Mind you, I did not cut that mark out until I finished cutting the back. So it's not hard. If once you're able to get the front, to get the back will not be hard. You just have to place the front on top of another fabric and increase the allowance. So that's just that. I would set this aside after cutting, and we'll be getting my pockets next. So for the pockets, I folded the fabric into like a folded fabric, and I measured 8 inches for the width. That is, if you open it, it will be 16, and then 12 inches for the length. You can use 12 inches for the length. You can use 11. Anyone between the two would work. So I'll cut two of this on fold, mind you, on fold. You're not cutting this one. No, you're cutting this on fold. So you will get two of this first. So after getting two, still on fold like this, you're going to get the front piece of your trouser and place it on the open side. Now what I have there is 12 inches. You get the front piece of your trouser, you place it on the open side. Just follow what I'm doing. Make sure the hip side is touching the edge. As you can see, I'm trying to get that same curve I have on the side of this trouser, so that by the time I fix my pockets, it won't be looking straight. Would have defeated the point of giving that curve we did earlier. So I'm going to open this pocket. Please, you're going to open it, because the next step, we're not doing it on the two sides. We're picking one side of the pocket. Sorry, this material it's hard to identify, so I'm marking the back and the front. So what I did here was, on one side I marked 2 inches in and 7 inches for the length of the pocket. Create something like a curve. You can make a curve, you can make it slanted, and cut it out on one side. So the next thing is to pick one side of your front, take one side of the pocket, right side facing right side, and you pin it all round. You can actually do this method on the trouser, but I prefer to do it on the pocket and then trace on my trouser. So after pinning it and cutting it out like this, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch. That's where I'm going to stitch it. Now to stitch this, it's advisable to use your hemming gum while stitching. In fact, when you're stitching you're stitching necklines, any place that you have to turn, use your hemming gum, because it makes it easier when you iron, and it stays put and neat instead of top stitching. I'm not saying stop stitching is bad though, but this is like the easiest way, and this is the easy trouser tutorial. So just use 1/2 inch with your hemming gum to stitch that point, then you notch it. After notching, you take it to your ironing table and iron, so that it would you get a good fold at that point. Now I'm going to do the second one too. See, I used my hemming gum, place it and just follow the line 1/2 inches. Now this second one, if you notice, I did not cut it out after pinning it, so you can sew first and then cut out the excess from the trouser, or you can place the pocket, pin, and then cut it out before sewing. Whichever way works out perfectly. So this is how I'm going to do the ironing. Just watch closely. This is not something you can explain. Remember, I used hemming gum to sew this, so I will just place my iron, arrange it well, make sure that the pocket side is inside, is not pushing out of the front, then iron. I'm still going to use the hemming gum to place that other side. This part is not necessary, but I had excess, so I just decided to use it. So after ironing, you see how neat it looks. Now you're going to pick the other side of the pocket and place it on top, like as you can see me do. Place it on top and then pin that side, and then pin the upper part too. This is you securing the pocket to the material. So after doing this, you're going to sew the down to close the pocket, then stitch every other place that you see me pointing. to hold the pockets in place. Now the next thing is to get my band, and to get my band I picked my back pattern block and measured the waist. Now the way I do my waistband is I fix for the front separate and fix for the back separate, so that if it's too big or it's too tight, I can easily adjust without having to lose the band or the zip. So what I had was, for one piece of the back block was 12, meaning if it's together it's 24. So I cut 24 inches length and 4.5 inches width. That's what you're seeing. 24 inches in length for each band, and then 4 inches in length. You can measure your front and do that, but I just use the same thing for the back. I know that the front is going to be SS, but I just use the same thing for the back instead of cutting separately. So after ironing my paper gum on it, I would fold into two, as you can see me do. Like I said, this is the easiest way to make a palazzo trouser. No complicated method here, just the easiest way. So after ironing this, I would set it aside, and this is me trying to close those points I showed you on the pockets, all the points that I pinned, trying to attach the pockets, place the pocket on the trouser. Please do not forget to close the down part of this pocket so that you don't finish sewing and it will be open. So after doing this, I will do it on the second one too, and I will place both parts of the front together and close the crouch. Mind you, when closing your crouch, do not close completely. You can leave at least 2 inches or 1 inches open, as you can see me do. And I only closed my front, I did not close my back, and you see why. So after doing this, I would iron and then bring my band. I would introduce my band at this point. So see how neat this is, the pocket and all. So I will pin my band like this. This is the easiest way. After doing this, you can just serge it. So after placing my band this way, this is the front. Like I said, I am going to fix each band separately. Front will be separate from the back. Now pick one part of the back. Remember I said you're not joining the back yet together. Pick one side of the band of the back, place your band you cut out, and then do the same thing for the other side of the back piece. So after doing that, I would after joining, I would iron, and then I would place this and introduce one part of the back, as you can see me do. Place it on the side of the front and pin. In fact, this is the easiest way you can sew a trouser, believe me. So after pinning, I would mark 1 inch straight down from the waist down to the hem for one side. So this is how I'm doing it. I'm marking 1 inch. You can mark your hip line and then do that, but you can still take 1 inch down. It still doesn't matter. It doesn't change a thing because you already have the curve from when you were cutting. So after doing this on one side, I'll pin well. So I'll pin this properly, and I'll do this on the other side too. Please, pinning as a beginner is very important. Even if you're not a beginner, it helps you see what you're doing. So I'm going to introduce the second block of the back and do the same thing. So as you can see me doing, I am pinning both pieces, this one side of the front and one side of the back together. Remember, please, you're only joining the front crouch before joining your band. The back is going to be separate. This is even easier if you want your zip to be at the back, and you get to take all your measurements at the back too. So after joining these sides, as you can see me do, the back will be completely open. This is when you take all your measurements. Now I'm taking my waist measurements, and whatever I have there, I'm going to mark. I'll measure how long I want my zip to be. I actually want my zip to be at the back, and I'll connect 1 inch, because if you do this properly, the allowance you're going to have at the back will be 1 inch. So from where I want my zip to stop, I'm going to connect half inch down. Remember, we're leaving at least 2 inches on that crotch length open. So I would go and connect that. So after connecting that, you see that you have two fronts and two back open. You'd Next thing you do is to hem the down. After hemming, you would connect the inseams. Remember what I did, right? That when I was connecting each crotch of the back and the front, I left an opening. This is where that opening comes to place. So you're going to sew from the down till you get to the inseam. You're going to do this for both legs. Just follow what I'm doing if my explanation is not clear. So after sewing each leg, you see that I have an opening in the middle. So if you open it this way, you see that it's the back and the front connecting. So just connect it and iron, and fix your zip wherever you want it to be, back or side. So this is the final result. I hope this tutorial was easy. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe.